Well, welcome to Journey to Freedom TV, where we explore ideas, stories, and strategies to help you live your vision and achieve your dreams. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Estelle Gibson, CPA, a TED speaker, an author, and a holistic financial coach working with women, individuals, couples, and entrepreneurs to help them move past whatever is blocking them when it comes to money and to live their dreams. So today I'm doing a new series that's called Coaches Creating Transformation. And I have a wonderful guest, Julie Hutton, who I'm going to introduce here in just a moment. So I want to just share that one of the reasons I want to do this series is that the coaching industry is changing and transforming. And so with the input and onslaught of AI, we are experiencing changes in the coaching industry where AI is replacing some of the traditional coaching processes. So coaches are looking at how they can be more transformational. I've always been a transformational coach, and Julie has also. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and a whole lot more. So I want to introduce you to Julie. First, I'm going to bring Julie on screen. Hi, Julie. Welcome today.
Hello, Estelle. Thank you for having me.
So glad that you're here. And I want to read a little bit about Julie so that I'm introducing her to you. So, Julie Hutton is a master teacher who has been a success coach for 39 years. Wow. She helps people experience a profound, irreversible realization of their own beauty and inner brilliance, the kind that changes how they live forever. Okay, who doesn't want that, right? Her work
Right.
has one central aim to help people experience a realization so deep and genuine that they can never see themselves the same way again. Wow. For more than 3 decades, she has guided her participants through experiences that are both deeply reflective and profoundly uplifting, helping people see themselves with new clarity, compassion, and possibility. Julie believes that true self love solves everything, not egoic or arrogance, but true self love. Wow. Welcome, Julie. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved hearing that. You did a great job.
Okay, yay. So grateful that you're here. Okay, so one of the first things I like to talk to people about is how they have gotten to where they are now. So, what tell us a little bit about your journey, Julie, in getting to being a transformational coach and where you are today.
Wow. That feels like such a long journey since I've been doing this for 39 years, but actually started in 1980 when I did a human potential training program in the Seattle area called LifeSpring. And that was an offshoot of EST. And I felt like I had a spiritual awakening. It was a
Mm,
mini awakening, but it was awakening that sent me in pursuit of deeper learning and understanding. And then in 1985, I was turned on to a channeler out of Southern California by the name of Lazarus.
mhm.
And I just listened to, well, and saw some of his videos. And it spoke to me. It was like, oh, yes, that resonates, that resonates, that resonates. And so I started going to trainings, retreats that they put on down in Southern California. And one of the things that I was really enamored with was the power in his guided visualizations.
Mm.
They were so profound. So one part of my mind was tracking on the visualization. The other part of my mind was going, how did he do that?
Oh,
How did
wow.
he get me here? How did he get me to realize these my own answers because it
Mm.
wasn't being planted. It wasn't
Mhm.
planted information. It was like asking for your own uh, guidance or information.
Mhm.
And so, of course, then it's like, well, how did he do that? And that turned me on to training for clinical hypnosis. So
Cool.
I'm a clinically trained hypnotherapist,
Okay.
which I don't do clinical hypnotherapy anymore, but that started me on the power of mindset. That was my first
Ah,
introduction of mindset. It's like the power of your words, the choice of your words, the
yes.
tonal quality of your words hold magic. And yeah, and that then I don't know.
What led you to
I was
coaching then? What do you think got you into the coaching realm?
I was trying to figure out what would be the greatest role for me. I'd been in
Okay.
sales. I wasn't all that happy with it. So I
So
was
you're doing
studying.
hypnotherapy. Was there something that someone you met, something you saw, something that had you go, that's it. Coaching is it.
No, because there was not an industry called
Okay.
coaching.
Okay.
It was it I when I did develop my coaching practice, it was because I'd studied what color is your parachute, trying to figure
Right.
out, what are my interests, and then read the classic book, Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow.
Yes.
And, then I looked at my library. My library was all self-help. I was spending thousands of
Mhm.
dollars going to Southern California, learning, learning, learning,
Okay.
learning, learning, learning. And then it was like, well, what would I want? And that was, I wanted to work in the human potential
Mhm.
world and how, so then I started thinking, well, it'd be like an Olympic coach, an Olympic
Oh,
coach.
wow. So, Julie, are you telling me that you started your coaching business before there was a coaching industry?
Yes,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
yes. And I I laugh sometimes because I fashioned it off of a boxing coach, which is kind
Okay.
of a little brutal, but
Right.
you think about in sales out in the business world, it can sometimes be brutal. So I fashioned it in teaching, skills and techniques and communication, blah, 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 and encouragement, championing, but also kind of wiping the blood off of their
Right.
face and sending them back out into the ring
Yes.
refreshed,
Wow.
refreshed and do it again and learn from every experience. So it was
That is
challenging.
so interesting, challenging for sure. The question that pops up immediately for me is, how did you, number one, find your clients and express to them what you were going to do with them? Because that's a lot of what we talk about in coaching schooling. But before there's a school, how did you do that? Find your clients and then explain to them what you did.
It was a challenge. I'll
Yeah,
just say it was a challenge. How it because it's a new concept. You're
right.
forging, you're a pioneer in that. And the good news is I was connected to a really dynamic, large Toastmasters group
Okay,
out of the
great.
Seattle area.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they were very progressive.
Mm.
Um, and our friendships deepened, as of course it does when you're listening to other speakers share
Mhm.
about their lives and whatnot, and you get bonded in that
Oh,
experience.
absolutely. It's like a
Yeah.
family. Becomes a
Yeah.
family.
Yes, exactly. And so I had some really good friends in there, and I offered this, what is, I was trying to think. Lynn is her name. Lynn, I just went up to her and said, "Hey, you are fabulous. I would love to help you become even more fabulous and present yourself to a
Hmm.
wider audience and whatnot. And I will gladly do that for $40 an hour."
Hmm.
And even then, um,
That was probably significant, right?
well, actually, it wasn't that much because once I got started and going, my rate was 150.
Wow.
Yeah, and with a minimum 2 hour session at that time. But $40, it was still something, it wasn't
Something
like
but reasonable, so someone would say yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And she did. And then one after another. And um, why did it work? It's a really
Results. Did they get results?
yes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, why did it work for me? And I would say, not totally, but I was too dumb to know
Oh,
that it couldn't be done.
wow.
And it was such a match. That's what I would say. It
Yeah.
was such a
Sounded like
match.
skill match, the combination of your skills, your gifts, your talents, what you're passionate about, you know, the learning aspect of coach, it just all made sense for
Right.
you.
I did experience a significant kind of blip in it
Hmm.
with somebody that I had hired to help me in an administrative role,
Hmm.
but she said something to me that really took me back and took a while to overcome. And she said, "Well, you need a PhD to do what you're doing, what you're offering." And
Hmm.
yeah,
My
you
yeah,
know,
my
and
my comment there, Julie, is that there's in the industry there's sometimes a confusion between counseling and coaching.
yes,
And if somebody says you need a PhD, that leads me to believe that they think that you're being a
right,
therapist, a counselor,
right.
a counselor.
Psychotherapy, yes,
Exactly.
which I was never interested in.
Hmm.
So I didn't know about life coaching because there wasn't life coaching.
Right.
So I didn't label myself as a life coach. I
Right.
labeled myself as a success coach,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
people that
Okay.
want success, and so the primary people that I worked with were entrepreneurs,
Okay, great.
sales people, anyone that if they got better at what they were
Mhm. Do-
doing, they'd make more money,
Right.
which, a lot of salaried positions, that wasn't the case. Um,
Because you have a
so
ceiling. So
yes,
there
because you
is
have
no
a
ceiling.
ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Or a perceived
Hmm.
ceiling. Yeah,
Correct.
let's throw that out. Perceived ceiling. Yeah, so it
And so
was,
that's so great, Julian. What you are perfectly explaining is the beginning of the coaching industry. It began and came out of the self-development, personal development movement in the 80s. That's where it started.
hmm
And then
hmm
became more professionalized and systematized and more schools in the 90s. And then
hmm
in the 2000s and beyond, it's kind of almost gone back. People became credentialed and professionalized, getting certified, and now everybody says they're a coach with
right,
with right with no training, um with no uh certification. They're just saying, yeah, I can, help you do that. And
right,
you had done a lot of learning. The nice thing about coming through the professional development realm is people did a lot of training and learning. People that are coaching now are just saying, I'm a coach without any training, learning, or
right,
expertise.
right,
So,
right,
that is the evolution of the industry.
right. Well, I've also been in real estate a couple of times,
Mhm.
twice, in fact, real estate. And so there's a lot of real estate professionals. There's a lot of life coaches. So a joke I share every once in a while is there's a hooker on every corner. There's an alcohol mart on every corner.
Right.
There's a real estate agent on every corner. There's a
A
life coach on
coach
every
every
corner.
corner.
Right.
Now, right?
Right.
It went from being
Yes.
no life coaches to everyone thinks they're a life coach.
Right. Right.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. So share with me a little bit, Julie, about now where you are now. So then you went on to take coach training and go through the whole professional, obviously.
Right.
And
I have been affiliated with Coachville
mhm,
almost from its inception.
okay. And for
I
those
don't
of you that don't know, Coachville is one of the larger coaching
preeminent. Yeah.
preeminent coaching schools, and the profession started with Thomas Leonard, who originally started Coach U, and then before he passed away, had created Coachville. And so Coachville is his legacy training company.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm addicted to learning, so I'm still
yeah,
affiliated with Coachville. I love to
absolutely.
learn.
And I think coaches and professionals of all kinds attract lifelong learners. And if you're any kind of certification, you have to keep doing continuing education.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Right.
it fits right in with coaching. There is a requirement if you are certified to have continuing education. And with the world changing as fast as it is, it's important to stay abreast of uh, new developments in
Right.
personal development, in just the world itself. And
Right.
there's so much out there about mindset and um, neuroplasticity and brains and all
Hmm.
this stuff. So that really affects, and like I said, in any profession, you have to keep up on the newest, the latest, and the greatest in what's going on.
Well, with real estate, there's continuing education there
Right,
also. And
exactly.
I was a continuing education trainer in Seattle. So I don't know if you know that, but
Wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
for 20 years. And because hypnotherapy, it you have to be licensed to be a
Absolutely.
hypnotherapist in Washington State, not in California, but in Washington State. So,
Then you have to keep up your license, right?
right, you have to keep your license. So I was doing double continuing ed all the time, but I loved it because
Yeah,
I loved the learning and I love the dynamics of real estate.
absolutely.
Real estate was a very dynamic
And
industry
changing, talk about
and still
changing,
is. Yeah.
totally changing. So, yeah. So, tell me a little bit about the work that you do with your clients now, because I'm sure your work has evolved over the years.
Yes. Well, where I'm at now, what I'm focusing on is, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
From the beginning
Mhm.
of my coaching career, I created every aspect of it to match me like a glove. So I use this example. The hours that I would work, the type
Mm.
of work that I would do, the type of people that I would work with, and teaching the topics that I was interested in,
Yes.
topics that I was interested in. And so I think I forgot the question that you asked,
Oh,
what
the
I'm
question
doing
was,
now,
tell
or
me the type of work that you do with your clients right now.
which is primarily 3-day intensives. It's 3-day intensives, or I even changed that name to be a little less intimidating, more like
Mhm.
immersive. 3-day immersive.
Great. And what is the work? Um, what are they working on? What type of clients? Is it still the success in areas of their life? Um, does it involve
Well,
mindset? Just a little bit about what it is.
That's a very good question. And you know what? Even though I didn't call it life coaching,
Mhm.
when I started doing success coaching, it became very apparent to me that it was a whole life thing. Or,
Absolutely.
yeah, their re personal relationships, their family, the careers that they were in, the working environment, the whole thing. So still today, that's it. Um,
Mhm.
if you have some a big area of your life that's not working, it
Okay.
if it impacts the whole, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're stressed and worried about a divorce,
Mhm.
it's going to impact your profession.
And your
If
family and your
and your
health
family
and your
and, and your health,
right.
absolutely,
Yeah. Same
and
with
your
me as
health.
a money coach. And Julie and I have gone to the same coaching school, and there's a theory that we follow, which is called environmental design, that there's nine environments in your life. And I say that you are in the middle. Uh, you are in the middle and something that there's usually a main thing in the middle of your life, but different things affect every area of your life. Money is one of them, and
Mhm.
relationships and
Absolutely.
success, and they all interact with each other.
Right.
So you have to take a holistic look at someone's life. And then they usually
Exactly.
have, like you said, Julie, they usually have a problem area or something that
Yeah,
they're struggling with.
right. Well, and people usually want something specific when they
Yes.
come to me, or there's some issue that eh, they've been referred by, for a reason to
Mhm.
me. Um, yeah, so it's wide ranging.
Hmm.
Here's an example.
Okay, good.
Somebody that was referred to me, actually, it was a long time ago, by a really good client of mine. And she was struggling because she had found out that her husband had been having an affair.
Mm,
And she was, as you can imagine, totally stressed out.
of course.
But she was referred to me because she was thinking that I'm going to get a divorce. I need to get into the workforce.
Hmm.
I'm ill prepared for that. What do I do? So her really good friend referred her to me. And when we finally sat down in the 3 day, it took a little while, but I ended up asking her, what do you really want? After we
Yes.
had created the space, the safety,
Hmm.
discovered, many aspects and things, what do you really want? Do you do you really want a divorce
Hmm.
and get into the workforce, or do you want to figure out how to save the marriage?
Hmm.
And it ended up she wanted to save the
Oh,
marriage.
wow.
And so sometimes going that deep,
Hmm.
you discover what they really want, not what
Right.
they say they want or think they want on the surface.
And that's a process
It's a process,
because there's lots of fear, there's lots of emotions, there's lots of limiting beliefs that are driving everything on the surface level.
right? There's
Yeah,
lots of sadness, there's lots of pain. It's
exactly.
hard to get.
So
Yeah,
your
to
process takes people through that, Julie?
well, yes, it's
Uncovering that. Okay.
right. But
Because
yeah.
it's not as simple as just asking a few questions.
Well, exactly. And no matter how they come to me, I I spend 2 to 4 hours with intake sessions,
Mhm.
conversations with them. And I have them answer as honestly as they're capable of at the time to answer a very extensive I call it a whole life questionnaire, which gives
Yes.
me kind of a big picture. And
Mhm.
there are hints there, even if they're not
Right.
totally honest about everything, which nobody is.
Right.
I wouldn't be either.
And some of
Um,
that is that they don't know because they've never
Right.
had to even think about these questions before in life. Because I do a similar
Exactly.
intake, and people are like, that question, I've never thought about that before. So
Right.
it is
Right.
part of the process.
Right.
Yeah,
And quite honestly, it can feel invasive, somebody asking, very delicate questions,
right.
but the answers, you know, surface and give me the ability to then craft a highly customized time together, so I go in with doing this 3 day with the ability to do potentially 10 days with them, potentially. It's like, and I'm going to then intuitively choose each section as we move
Hmm.
forward. I mean, I literally have these sections printed out and one by one, and then just tracking and following what's happening with them. Where are they? Where do we need to go deeper? What do we need to just sidebar and do something
Yeah.
different?
Wow. And so what are some of the transformations that you help people create in this 3D immersive?
It's very wide ranging, I'm
Okay.
thinking. Truly, it is. It's wide ranging.
And you shared with me that you have a flip the switch um process. Can you share a little bit about
Right.
that?
Yes. Here's a challenge sometimes that I've noticed that I run into in sharing stories or things about real life clients. Because as you know, um, we adhere to a high degree of confidentiality.
Absolutely.
And being a licensed clinical therapist or
Mhm.
clinical
Hypnotherapist.
hypnotherapist in the Seattle area really trained that into me. So I'm always very careful about
Yeah.
sharing
Or in just
information.
generalities, people increase their income, so what are some of the transformations that they've
Well,
had?
of course, I say, of course, they increase their income.
Okay.
I started to say, this one person has given me absolute
Oh, okay.
full carte blanche to be able to share
Okay,
anything.
great.
And I have it in writing. So, which is something that I learned to do, in Seattle. And that is, she made a shift from feeling like her whole life had been about survival
Okay.
to thriving. So we literally did a complete process that I created that uses deep guided visualization where you're walking through steps of, are you really willing to change? Are you ready to change?
Mhm.
Is this an absolute choice of yours? And then you're flipping a switch in this
Mm.
guided visualization, like you're turning one thing
Yes.
off and
And
turning
one thing
another
on.
thing on.
Okay.
Right. And it's a very powerful, profound process
Yeah.
that when people are truly ready, it
Yes.
works.
So then
The
what
the
are the
the
results?
secret is work or
Yes,
ready,
right.
ready.
Ready and works. Uh, what are the just so viewers and listeners can understand? Because a lot of times in coaching, we talk about some of the processes, but what is the like a real world result from going from s- surviving to thriving that happened in her life? Like, is there anything specific that happened in her life as a result of that switch flipping?
Yes. Okay. So there's two big examples that I can
Okay, good.
share. Profound examples, that really jump out. And one is she had, she had first come to me as a salesperson making 35,000 a
Okay.
year. when we finished, it was 200,000 a
Okay,
year.
see, now that is a big result that people need to hear.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
these are
very,
real
yeah,
world results that not just that you feel better or that you had a realization, but my life completely changed.
yes. Well, here's before I tell you the other one is it doesn't sound as dramatic if you go from a place of always feeling like you need to prove your
Mm.
worth, prove your value,
Right.
prove your worth, prove your value, to no longer that your self-love is so full and complete. That doesn't,
Well,
while
that
the
doesn't resonate
impact,
because people don't they
because they
don't even
don't
know
know
what
what
that
that,
is.
yeah, they don't know what that is.
Because
You're
number one, they don't think they're surviving and struggling. They just think they're living and doing what they're supposed to.
right,
And a lot of people, and that can be a problem with communicating what we do as coaches, especially transformational coaches, because people don't understand what self-love even is, right?
exactly,
So
exactly.
you have to kind of go with real world results. But I love that, Julie, because one of the things I always say with people with money, people want the money because it provides something else.
Proof of worth,
Right.
proof of value,
Exactly.
proof of,
Or
yeah,
freedom, or they have
right,
peace, or it's something that they get
right,
from more money or the bills paid off or the whatever. But that's
right,
not what they come for because that's not tangible.
right,
So they come with
right,
a tangible problem, and then you transform their life and they get the intangible,
right.
which is the thing, the core belief, the core thing that cuts through every area of their life that transforms their life. And that's
Yes,
that's really hard to explain, right?
it is. It is. And
Because
yes,
you're talking to people that it's like they're on a wavelength here and you're on a wavelength here, and so you're like this.
right, 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 right,
So that's why I
right.
love
So,
having these conversations, right? So that people understand what transformational coaching is. It is not just producing your goals. It
right,
is beyond that. You may start with, yeah, I really want this to happen, but what happens is you transform who you are, who you're becoming, and your identity. And that
right,
is the new direction of coaching because you can get an AI bot to give you an action plan and to assess
right,
whatever and answer all of your questions. But if you're looking for self-actualization, if you're looking to really make a dramatic shift in your life and change who you are from somebody that's struggling all the time to somebody that has ease and in what they're doing, that doesn't have to prove themselves, that can just be authentic and self-actualized. You know what I mean?
right,
So that is
right.
the direction of where the coaching industry is headed, and talking about it is going to be interesting.
Yes, it is. It is interesting. I have found that myself. And, certainly 39 years ago, I was clearly in the dreams. Dream Maker was one of my very first workshop series. And Dream Maker goal actualization. Dream Maker goal actualization. So not just for my clients, but for me too. And over the years, I've just been seeing that Maslow's
Yes, self-act
theory. Yeah.
pyramid of self-actualization. Yeah.
Pyramid, you're right. Self-actualization's at the top. And I personally have realized that it takes life experiences
Mhm.
to motivate us to dig deeper, dig deeper,
Oh,
dig deeper,
absolutely.
dig deeper. When
Absolutely.
things don't work, when things go bad horribly, which I've had my share of
Mhm.
that happening in my life, yeah, we dig deeper, or we become angry, bitter, and
Right.
die
Yeah,
horrible
usually
deaths. Yeah,
I have a model that I use, the three levels of awareness, and asleep, awake, aware, or sleep, aware, awake. And usually something has to happen for people to wake up.
right. Yes.
Otherwise, they're just going to continue life as it is, whether it's
Uh-huh.
a relationship breakup, a lost career, a money
Right.
issue, an illness, whatever it is,
Right.
something usually creates a wake up call, and people go, I have to do something differently.
Yeah. I call that two by four side the head.
Yes.
And I've had several of those two by fours side the head, right?
Yeah,
They're huge wake up calls,
they are.
painful experiences.
Unfortunately, as humans, we seem to have to get there. I like
Right.
to hope that people will listen to something like this and go, I don't need to have to wait for my wake up, my
Right,
two by
right,
four.
right,
Let me
right,
just start to take a look at what I really, want to do. And that starts with, and I know you're familiar with this, Julie, just asking people what their dream is and having them to start think outside the box and outside of their current life and
right,
what's possible. And that's not a question that people are asked
right.
in their home, at school, ever, usually ever. So yeah. So this
And
is
it
great.
it
So
takes some deep,
as we're
go ahead.
wrapping up, last couple questions for you. Is there anything you'd like the viewers to know about what you're currently doing? Any programs, events, you're immersive that you'd like to share right now?
Well, I'm only doing two immersives a month.
Okay.
One of those immersives I'm offering free to
Wow.
people who, yeah, free to people who are interested in making a difference in the world. And there seems to be more and more people interested in making a difference in the world
Hey, we
right
love
now.
that.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you then, Julie, to find out about more about what you do, to maybe apply for an immersive, whether it's free or paid? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Email
Okay.
julie@juliehutton.com.
And I'll have that
Email.
in the description and in
Okay.
the show notes. So julie@juliehutton.com. Well, this has been wonderful, Julie. Thank you so much for being here. And we will continue the conversation. Yes?
Yes, I would love that. You are very inspiring,
Oh, well,
Estelle.
thank you so much. All right. And for those of you that are viewers, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. We will be continuing this conversation and watching as the coaching industry does its own transformation.
Evolves.
Exactly. So until next time, always live your dream, focus on what you want in your life, and uh, just have fun.
Yes, I say happy, healthy, wealthy, wise.
I
Happy,
love
healthy,
that.
wealthy, wise.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you soon.